Hello, Tim from Fairplay now on the 24th of August 2021. Now, last couple of videos that I've put out have been a little bit ranty. I've been having a go at how wicked and evil the governments in so many countries around the world are and how they should go. But what I didn't really touch upon is what should replace them. Which is a good question, and a few people have left comments like that in the comment section below those videos. Now, when I say the government should go, who should replace them? As far as the UK is concerned, Labour. Yeah, right. The Liberal Party. No. The Reform Party, yeah, possibly. Not overly convinced by them, but I think they would be a lot better than the three main parties. Because I think the thing is, you could just literally sweep away the whole system. The entire system, all the parties, the government and the sort of establishment, and just start all over again, sort of get rid of all the billionaires, sort of put them in prison, take all their money from them and do whatever, set up a completely new system. But I reckon that within certainly 50 years, maybe a lot less than that, the new system would be just as corrupt and rotten as the one we've got now. It doesn't really matter what form of government is set up. I think that is what would happen. And when people talk about George Orwell, they almost always talk about 1984, which is a fantastic book, of course, and it's highly relevant to what's going on now. But Animal Farm, also by George Orwell, kind of details what does happen when revolutions take place successfully. They're only successful for a certain amount of time, and then the rot creeps in, and before you know it, things are really back to how they were before, or in a lot of cases even worse than they were before. And you only have to look at Stalin's Soviet Union to see that things were bad enough under the Tsars, but Stalin was obviously horrendous. So what could be the answer? Well, certainly a society where the power of the individual is given precedence over the power of government, and that goes without saying as far as I'm concerned. And it's amazing how many people out there do not think along those lines. To me, it's just blindingly obvious, really, but hey ho. Now, until the start of this year, 2021, I thought really from, well, I say day one, but as early as I can remember learning this particular philosophy, all the way until the start of this year, I always thought that anarchy was a bad thing. I really did. And the assumption is, if you get rid of all government, all authority, basically what you end up with is sort of Portland and Seattle and those places in America where BLM took over, and there's just sort of riots sort of night after night for many weeks. And that is the popular view of what would happen as soon as anarchy kind of took place. Not that I think that was what happened in those cities. I think that was all orchestrated by the powers that shouldn't be. And when you think about it, would that really happen? And let's say, let's just take you and your, wherever you live, your sort of village or your street or your sort of neighbourhood, etc. Do you think that just because the government disappeared, that it would just, your neck of the woods would descend into total kind of nightmare sort of scenario like Seattle last year? I'm not so sure it would, but we're taught from day one, aren't we, that anarchy is a bad thing, and that is kind of what happened. Now, you know, of course, that anarchy just means without leaders. That's literally what it means, without leaders. So we're kind of taught that anarchy is a really, really bad thing. We kind of tend to learn it at school, and then just, you know, popular culture, and then hearsay, you know, oh, what do you think about anarchy? Oh, it's bad, isn't it? Sort of thing. But where does that come from? Yeah, let's just think about it. We're taught that anarchy is a really, really bad thing, and it means without leaders. So who is it? Who is it telling us it's a bad thing? Could it be the leaders, perhaps, telling us that it's a bad thing? Yeah, I think we might be onto something there. And I think that a system of organised anarchy could work, and there's been things I've looked into this year. Some people call it freedom cells, and basically what you do is organise yourself into groups of, they kind of recommend no more than 8 people, otherwise it gets unwieldy. So you've got your little group of 8 people, and then the next lot of people form their sort of group of 8. The next lot of people sort of form their group of 8, and on, and then it goes up to, once you've got 8 lots of 8, it's 64, and then another lot of 8 lots of 64 goes up to sort of 500 and something. But if you think about it, you're interacting with, you know, your own group of 8 and these other groups of 8 people, and groups of 64 and groups of 500 and whatever it is kind of around you, and you'd be looking out for each other, wouldn't you? Yeah, you might have a few strong guys who would sort of be there to take care of any troublemakers. You know, if you've got criminals coming around your neighbourhood, yeah, because you're all looking out for each other, you'd sort of be able to sort of spot these criminals straight away. You know who the wrong uns are in your community, and you could just go around or send around the strong guys and you know, kind of sort them out, really. Sort of knock their heads together and say, "Oi, you know, behave." And I think there'd be a lot less room for criminality than in the system we've got now, rather than a lot more room for it. And we just, from there, we just sort of bring everything into a more localised structure and society. We kind of bring food production back to the local area. We bring power production back to the local area. And we sort of all take pride in our localities and do the best we can to build them up. Now, of course, you're going to have sort of someone somewhere sort of you know, centrally located to kind of deal with international things, and perhaps the Roman consul, I think it is consuls they were called, that system could be brought in. They basically it's like having two prime ministers, not one, two of them, and they only ever stay in that position for 1 year and 1 year only, and then they're out, and the next sort of pair are sort of brought up, perhaps sort of elected by a conglomeration of all the groups to represent us at international level. So that is kind of just mulling things over in my head, how things might work, but far from popular opinion, I think some system of organised, localised anarchy without leaders, apart from those two representatives, international representatives, could well work. I'd be interested in seeing what your thoughts are on this, and how you think it could work or couldn't work. But I think I'll round off with a video recommendation. This is recommended to me by a subscriber. So thanks, you know who you are, and it's a really great video. It's called Reject Authority, Trust Yourself, by a guy called Terence McKenna. I believe he did this speech about 30 years ago, so it's quite amazing. It's very relevant for our times. But essentially he's saying pretty much as I've been just now saying, that we should just be far less reliant on central authority, central government, and a lot more reliant on each other, and just being confident in our own individuality and the individuality of others in our immediate sort of locality. So I'll put a link. It is a YouTube video, so I can leave a link to it easily enough, probably both in the description box and in the comment section below. So I'll pin it there. And back tomorrow. Tim from Fair Play Now. Thanks for watching.